continue with talking a little bit about art. We're switching gears a little bit. We're going to be doing some finger painting today to make some colorful dandelions, which is a popular flower that we see in the summertime. So we're going to talk a little bit about dandelions first. I have a little read aloud that's very quick, but it just talks about the cycle of dandelions. And then we're going to get a chance to paint our own. So before I get chatting about our story and the life cycle of a dandelion, let's make sure that we have our materials, because if we don't, this will be a good time to grab them so that we're ready to go. Yes, Evelyn, you're right. I did do oobleck last year too. That was one of my guest activities. So what you're going to need, friends, is a piece of paper for our activity today. It can be a piece of cardstock paper, just regular white printer paper. That's what I'm using. So it is a little bit flimsy, but that's okay. We are going to need a black marker, or you can use a pen, or honestly, you could use a pencil, whatever you have, just something to write with or draw with. And then we are also going to use paint. I would say I would use washable paint because we are going to use our fingers. We want to make sure that we can wash it off of our fingers. But I'm going to use these colors today. So I have yellow, blue, pink, and purple. But you can choose whatever colors you want. If you want to do one color for your whole dandelion, you can do that. I'm going to do a mix of colors. And then the last thing, which you don't necessarily need, but I have it, so I'm going to use it just to give my dandelion a little bit of pizzazz, is some glitter glue. So if we want to add some glitter or more color to our flower, we can do that. So let's see, give me a thumbs up on camera for my friends who are on camera if you have your materials. The biggest things we need are paper, something to write with, and our paints. Let's see. And if you need a second, awesome. Thanks, Cameron. Thanks, Autumn and Amber. If you need a second to go get your materials, that is okay. Thanks, Willie.
And those of you asking about acrylic or tempera, like she said, it has to just be mindful of what's going to stick to your hands and what's going to be really hard to wash off. Okay.
Yes. No, thank you, Misty. Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys, it looks like a lot of thumbs up from my friends who are on camera. So let's talk a little bit about dandelions before we make our own. So if you are a friend who does not have material, again, that's okay. You can still participate with us. All righty, friends. So let's talk a little bit about dandelions. I'm curious to know, has anyone seen a dandelion outside? So what they look like is they are this yellow flower, but they can also be, I used to call them wish flowers when I was little, because sometimes if you find a white fluffy dandelion, they say that if you blow and make a wish, your wish might come true. So I don't know if friends have ever done that before. Yes, Misty saying yes. Asma and Ayana have. Nate has. Chelsea. Oh, Chelsea, you have a lot on your neighbor's lawn. Well, we're going to actually talk about why there might be a lot there, a lot in one specific place, because it has to do with how they grow. Sometimes people consider them weeds because there can be so many of them and they grow everywhere. Yes, Nate said because they are weeds. We're going to talk about the magical side of them and how you can use them to make a wish. So, friends, if you look at the life cycle here, they start off as a seed, and you'll notice it goes in a circle, right? They start off as a seed, they start to grow. We can see it slowly start sprouting. Sometimes you might see them look like this, almost like a closed, like a bulb before the yellow flower blooms. I've seen these a lot in my yard. And then they eventually turn into this yellow flower. Now, after that, they do turn to the white fluffy, the wish flowers, I call them. But what happens is if you blow on those and make a wish, do you see how it almost looks like a little seed is on the end of a parachute? And what happens is they go through the air and they land on the ground. And that little piece there is the seed. So wherever they land on the ground, it's almost like they're planting a seed so that dandelions can grow again. So friends who have said, I have a lot in my yard in one area, that's most likely why those seeds float through the air and they don't get very far, right? So wherever they plop, wherever they land, that's where a new dandelion can potentially grow. All righty. Now, friends, I will say our dandelions today, they're not going to be the white wispies, we're actually going to do different colors, which dandelions are typically yellow, but I figured we'd make it more fun and colorful just because that's what art is all about, the color, the design. And the cool thing about picking our own paint today is that you guys can pick whatever colors you want. So I'm going to show you how to do our pictures step by step, but it's up to you what it ends up looking like. I like how friends can just sprinkle in their own creativity, and I'm excited to share at the end to see what everybody has. So what we're going to do today, everyone, is we're going to get a chance to make our own colorful dandelions. We're going to walk through this step by step. The first thing that you're going to need is a plain white piece of paper. And if you want to do it horizontal, you can. Just keep in mind that your dandelion might be a little smaller. I'm going to do mine vertically so I can do a nice tall dandelion. All right. And then we are going to take our drawing tool. So whether it is a marker, a pencil, a pen, that is okay. If you want to use a pencil, I know lots of times when I draw, I make mistakes and I like to go back and erase. So today I am going to use a marker just so it's dark so you friends can see it while I screen share. But what we're going to do first is we are going to draw the stem of our dandelion. So we're going to start at the bottom of our page here. And we're going to go up to, I'm going to say about halfway up our paper, and then we're going to stop. So just a nice long stem. Line paper does work, friend. Yeah, if you have really any type of paper is fine. All right. And then what we're going to do from here, this is where you kind of get to make your dandelion your own already. We're going to be doing the little stems here where the seeds are going to come off of. So I like to make them all different lengths. And I'm just going to go around right in a circle. So I'm kind of drawing mine a little bit at an angle too, in all different directions. And we could add even more later. But so you'll notice it's starting to look a little bit almost like a pinwheel or a firework. So you want to add a bunch of little lines, all different lengths. And they can be squiggly, they can be facing different directions. All right. And when friends have their squiggly lines drawn, I'd like you to hold it up. Let's see what everyone's looks like so far. Awesome, Helen. Good, Rena. Awesome, Kobe. Our little, I don't want to call them leaves, our little lines drawn. What we're going to do is we have to draw the seed at the end, right? Because the seed, the important part about the seed we learned with our dandelions is that they float, they land, and then that's planted where new dandelions grow. So we can't draw a little dandelion without a seed on the end. So at the end of each of your line, what you're going to want to do is draw, it's just a little, almost like an oval shape. And again, we're going to use our writing tool for this. So at the end of each one, we're just coloring in like a little circle, a little oval shape. And that is going to represent our seeds. Now, the more lines you drew, the longer this part might take you. So that's okay. Take your time. All right. I just finished mine. Let's see how our friends are doing. Gonna give us like one more minute here. One more minute to finish up adding our seeds on, and then we're going to get to our painting piece. So if you have your paints nearby, go ahead and pick a few colors you want to use. If you want to do all one color, you can. Like I said, I'm going to do 4 colors. I'm going to do yellow. I'm going to do pink. I'm going to do blue, and I'm going to do purple today. All right, you guys, let's get to the painting. So go ahead and pick which color paint you want to use first today. What color paint is everybody using? Do you friends want to type in the chat? What did you guys decide on? Is anybody doing blue with me? Anyone doing yellow or purple? or pink. Abira's going to use blue. Ooh, Jose's going to use, looks like orange. I like how you have markers too, friend. That's totally fine. Yeah, if you guys don't have paint, markers will do. Willie's going to use gold. That'll be cool to see. Chelsea said blue and lavender. Joey's going to do red, green, and blue. Are you guys picking your favorite colors? I know purple is my favorite color, so I had to put purple in my dandelion. Awesome, awesome. All right, these are going to look great. I'm actually going to start with my favorite color, purple. So what we're going to do, friends, if you have your paint, I'm going to do it right out of the tube, but if you want to pour it on a piece of paper first or a plate, all you have to do is dip your finger in. I like to dip it in and then kind of brush it off a little bit on the side so it's not all globby. But then we're just going to touch and do a fingerprint wherever there's a little seed that we drew. Now I'm doing different colors, so I'm going to spread it out. Like for example, I might do purple here. I might do purple on this one. Maybe I want to do it on this one. See, I'm spreading out my colors a little bit. I'm not doing all purple. I'm going to come over here, here, and we're just using our fingerprint. All right, and then when I'm done with one color, I'm gonna put the lid on here. And if you friends have a paper towel nearby, I probably should have added that to our list if you want to wipe your finger off in between. I'm just gonna use a different finger though, so I'm gonna do my color pink next. So same thing, I'm just gonna dab my finger in the paint, and I'm gonna pick some other seeds to put my color on.
I'm trying to think, some of us that said that they didn't have paint, if you used a marker for like your dandelion parts, you could probably use maybe a colored pencil or a
Mm-hmm.
crayon real lightly and come up with something similar.
Absolutely. And if you look at the shape of our fingerprints, friends, they're usually just like a circle or an oval. So all you would have to do is color that with your marker or your crayon. And it would definitely work. It's all about that color. All right, you guys, let's see. We're going to do our next color. So I'm going to do some blue next. Mine's kind of like a light blue color. And again, I'm just spacing out my color on my dandelion seeds. And then I have one color left I'm going to use for all the others. And that is my yellow. I figured I'd had to put yellow in here since that's the color of a dandelion when it's the flower. Awesome, Kobe, that's a great idea. This is definitely a craft you could do with siblings for sure. Even younger siblings. I feel like little kids love to finger paint. Might be a little messier with them, but they do enjoy it. All right, so I am just adding on my yellow. And if you want, you could even draw a background for your dandelion. If you want to add a little bit more art to it, add a setting. Grass underneath it. You can draw the sky. If you want to draw little dandelions down here, like in the background, you can definitely do that. And I noticed, friends, as I was drawing, there's some spots where maybe I want to add another little seed to it. So you can definitely do that as well. If you want to fill in your dandelion, make it look a little more full, you can add those seeds in. So like I just added two more. Now I have to decide what color I want to make it. I'm thinking maybe I'll do yellow for the one. Yes, Cameron, you're absolutely right. It looks like a big firework, honestly, with all the different colors. But when I see those little dandelions, the wishy ones that you can blow on, they remind me of a firework too. I think I'm going to do purple for this last one here. And then I will be all done with mine. So I know some friends are still working, but if you are a friend who also has all your seeds drawn and painted and you want to hold it up, I'd love to see them. But take your time if you are still working, friends. Joey said it reminds me of a pinwheel. Yes, I absolutely agree. And like I said, I also have some glitter glue here. So if you friends had like glitter or stickers you wanted to add to your picture, you can. Like I have this yellow glitter glue. I could always add around my yellow ones. Give it a little shine. And then I also have some blues. Maybe I'll add a little bit of blue to my blue ones. All right. Let's see. I do have a purple one, so I'll do some purple. And then we have pink left. And look at that. I have a pink one. Perfect. All right. I'm excited to see what my friends got. So there is my colorful, glittery dandelion.